Paul, excellent performance by your side today. Certainly belittled, or belied, I should say, your position in the league table.
Look, I think today it was a very even game. Both created chances, both sides. I thought probably a draw was a fair result. I would have been really disappointed if we'd have lost that. But we played really well, showed a lot of character. What you need to do. But at times, we've got forward, we've got people forward. We haven't we've obviously defended well as well, but we've got people forward as well. And so it was all good.
Yeah, it was definitely very hard to tell who was actually on top of the league and who was down on the other end of the league.
Well, thank you. People can say, it was an end of the season for both sides, but we haven't got any relegation, so in a way we haven't got anything to play for. But they probably had more to play for than us, because obviously they want to maybe have a record amount of points this season. So that's two.
Unbeaten.
Well, they're unbeaten, but obviously they wanted to get the points as well. So I suppose they wanted to win 20 games and draw 2, and that way they would have probably. I don't know what the record is, but obviously maybe that's going to knock them down now. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was obviously also 2 coaching decisions, I suppose you could say, that brought about both goals. We had the first one with Chris putting Tongy up front, and then your substitution. You couldn't have done a better job.
Well, look, it was 10 minutes to go. We were 1-0 down. Ravi, had run his socks off, and Big Darren has just come in. He's not match fit, and we're not going to give him much more than 10-20 minutes anyway. So it was a great time to put him on, and hey, that's twice he's come up with 2 goals in 2 games for us. So yeah, he did really well. He's going to win stuff like that. It's strange because we played Sorrento and they stuck McDonald up front when we were sort of on top of them, and he scored 2 goals. And then I'm thinking, here we go again. The football team put up a big centre half to centre forward, which look, it's all part of the game. That you got to defend it, and obviously we didn't defend it well enough. But fair play to Darren, he took his goal well, but it was a great ball in as well.
And I must admit, your defence really snuffed out the chances of the Bayswater. They were basically all over them for the whole game.
Well, look, considering that the right back had to come off, but he was 16, the centre half was 16, the other centre half was 21, and the left back was 18. So I don't know what the age is. It's probably lower than Glory Youth's their team. So it's all credit to them to try and put out a back 4 against the league champions. Of about an average age of 18 to 19. It's a tough ask. And in fact, I think the average age of our team today was 21. So again, in professional levels, it's hard. But look, it just shows you how they're doing well.
You must now be thinking about coming back again next year. I know you've got the licence problem and all like that, but what you've done here since you've come in, and with the talent that you've now started to bring through, you must be excited, I suppose, to a degree about next season.
Well, it's probably watch this space. Probably. Look, I'd like to do it again. Armadale have spoken to us, and they've got a committee meeting on Monday. So I need to speak to Football West and things. There's a few things going on that I don't really want to discuss about that, but hopefully it can be resolved. That's all I'll say, and hopefully that I can be coaching there next year.
But you must be excited about the talent that's actually at Armadale. As you say, all them young lads today, the defence was so young, they can only get better and better with the experience.
They can, but they need experienced players around them. And if we want to push on again next season, and this is no disrespect to those players in the Armadale, we probably need to bring in at least 3 players if we can. If not 4. Whether we can do that, I don't know. If we can, look, I think if we'd have kept the players that we had this year, I think we would have been a lot higher up the table, because we lost half a team. We lost all about the 3 visa players. Lost Danny Hodgson, who's a great little player. That was tough to take. Reece, centre half, the captain, he had to go home, and Nick Crowder and his mate went back with him. And then another lad went out, a midfield player that he played the first game for us, and he went out with an osteopubis injury. And little Sammy, who came on in the left side of midfield, he's been out for the last 5 weeks. So we've had, it's been tough, but we do need to bring in a few players if we want to push ourselves up the table. But certainly we've got a great group of young players there.
You talk about a young and fairly inexperienced team, Paul. How much of a building block do you think you can use this performance with regards to a young side coming to the top of the league? How much of a building block do you think that can provide for this young team going forward?
Look, the team talk was a bit about the fact that do you believe you've got a great opportunity? There's no relegation. This game is an end of season game, but not for us. I mean, you've got to show. You've already showed that you can play in the NPL, but can you? There's 2 NPLs. There's Bayswater, and then there's the rest at the moment. Can you show that you can? See, look. Can you show opposite your number and stand up and say, well, yeah, I was as good as that opposite number to me? And I think a lot of our players today could say that. So that's a great testament. And that was really what it was about. Are we good enough to compete with Bayswater? And I think we showed that we were.
And I think the goalkeeper, Luke Radnich, had a great game today as well.
Yep.
You've got some really good depth. I think your substitute keeper's played a handful of games this season as well for the starting line, so you've got some great depth in the net.
Luke's only just come into the side for the last 3 games. We'd had Dylan in goal, and obviously Dylan's 17 years of age, and it's a tough ask for a 17-year-old keeper to play the whole season, particularly with his physique. He's a tall lad, but he obviously doesn't carry much weight. When you come up against people like Adam Tong and Steve McDonald, and so on, and Steve Burton, it's tough for a young 17-year-old goalkeeper. That's why you need experience and some older heads in the team.
Okay, well, Paul, all we can say is congratulations. Excellent performance today, and took it right up to the champions.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we did. Thanks.